Hi students, let me proceed further in this video of mine about the ancient philosophy of language in itself, and we will see what exactly is taking place. And before I can I should say differentiate between the Western and the Indian philosophy, we are supposed to know these things also. Now here, first and foremost, you will see that the earliest interest in language goes back to the pre-Socratic time, where the concept itself was highly instrumental in the sense that presumed facts about language and its features, somehow were pressed into the service for the purpose of the philosophical argumentation. So here you will see that the activity gave its way to the analysis of language for its own sake. Initially, it was just okay, logos is there, nobody questioned. They stepped into it, and whatever was handed over to them, blindly they picked it up and they started, I should say, give it to the next generation or to the disciples or their students or to their family members. It went off like that. Later on, when this activity was stopped and the analysis became, we can see that yes, different claims were present, and these claims really focused upon the relationship between the semantic values of the general terms on one hand and the existence of the universals. Now, you see, I'm a human being. Now, what is the problem of the universals? The problem with the universal is my knowledge about something is a limited one. So I do not. I'm not a god. I'm not a perfect being like God. If we can give that name and then say that, okay, I know everything. That's fallible. That's full of fallacies for us. That is not possible because I'm a particular. I'm saying, I did not say I am we. That becomes very difficult for us. So the question arises, and a different inquiry started off, wherein they were talking about words, sentences, meanings, and how to understand the general things that are taking place around us. Okay, now language in that manner turned out to be an object of philosophical inquiry, and then we proceed, further, wherein, after Heraclitus, then came in Socrates, then came in his student Plato, who inquired certain things. Now, what were the investigations that they were trying to do? First and foremost would be how words acquire their semantic values. That is very important for us. How do I know the chair is called as a chair, the table is called as a table, the book is called as a book? Who gave them and who has the authority to give us these things? How proper names and other singular terms refer to the objects which are existing in this world, how words combine to form larger semantic units. So you can see how semantics, syntactics, and the relationship between semantics and syntactics then came forward a time with more complicated things were being discussed. Okay, the compositional principles necessary for language understanding moved from one step to the other one. So here we will see that sentences, statements, and later on, when they entered into the domain of logic, they entered, they introduced the concept of propositions, which were entitled with the labels like true propositions, false proposition, valid argument, invalid argument, soundness, unsoundness, inferential propositions, deductive arguments, inductive arguments. So these things were the one that they started taking care. Later on, you can even see that yes, there were certain other problems which were existing. Like example is how propositions turned out to be abstract or concepts, or they turned out to be conceptual entities, and then there was a discussion on mind and language independent entities on one hand. On the other hand, they saw that it can be characterized in terms of their constituents, which means if I have a sentence in front of me, rather than focusing on the entire sentence, I will break down that sentence into pieces, into chunks, Okay, and then I'll understand each and everything which is conjoined together, and the totality of these words will be giving me a proper meaningful sentence. Okay, then comes related to minds and the natural languages used to express them. Now we have seen already the models have been presented in front of you. Three Western models we have seen: Frege, Austin, and Russell's. Three things we have seen. Now we have to look into the model which has been given to us through various philosophies or schools of Indian thought. Then the third one would be related to the language and independent world. On one hand we are saying intersubjectivity, then interplay in the world, only the language, the people, then how they are taking care of it. Lastly but not the least, there is also a relationship between the language and the independent world. How do we understand these things? So these are the things that you need to keep in mind while you are focusing on the philosophy of language. So let me come up with the other one where we can understand and see what is the differences between the Western and the Indian concepts, which Kritika raised in the classroom to asking me, ma'am, what is the difference between the two schools of thought. So let us enter into that zone in my next video and we can see more about it. Till then, thank you. Bye.